Picture this. It's an early Sunday morning and you're taking your small dog out for its early morning walk. When you look to your right and you see a huge pit bull running at you as fast as it possibly can. You quickly pick up your small dog and sprint back to the house as fast as you possibly can. Once you make it home, you then begin to realize you're breathing very heavily and can barely stand after running home from only 3 houses down the road. It's at this point you should consider doing a little bit of long distance running in case this big pit bull decides to chase you home again. Running, it's what core sports use to train for endurance, but it's what many call their primary sport. I ran cross country in high school and have continued to run and train in the time since then, and I know exactly what it takes in order to be successful. In order to be a successful long distance runner, you have to know the importance of diet and of training. So first, let's take a look at the importance of having a good diet. Diet is an important factor in any sport or activity when trying to get the most out of your body, and what you eat a day before or even an hour before can impact how you feel as a runner. So when determining what to eat, you should consider these 2 important factors. First is, does it have a lot of carbs? Jennifer Grill says, in How Much Protein and Carbs Do Runners Need? Runners training at moderate intensity for 1 to 3 hours should have 2.7 to 4.5 grams of carbohydrates per pound. So to put that into perspective, someone about my size would need about 350 to 550 grams of carbohydrates per day. And we can get this from things like potatoes, pastas, or even something as simple as bread. Secondly, you want to consider, does it have a lot of protein but not too much protein? Andrea Sepsis states, in How Much Protein and Carbs Do Runners Need? Endurance athletes consume approximately 0.64 grams of protein per pound of body weight daily. So to put this into perspective, someone about my size would need about 80 grams of protein per day. And we can get this from things like meats, dairy, or even something as small as peanut butter. Diet is an important factor in any sport or activity when trying to get the most out of your body, but is not only limited to what you eat. Drinking is another important factor when it comes to long distance running, but you may wonder why. Drinks like Cokes and other carbonated drinks can easily cause stitches in the side, which you do not want as a runner. I know from experience, getting stitches in your side is very painful and can dramatically decrease your time as a runner. Water, on the other hand, is the best source of hydration and can help to limit these stitches in the side. Elizabeth Quinn states, in Are You Drinking Enough Water During Exercise? If you are training regularly, you will probably need between 1/2 and 1 whole ounce of water or other fluids for each pound of body weight per day. So to put this into perspective, someone about my size would need to drink about 5 of these per day, since it contains about 25 milliliters and I weigh about 125 pounds. So now, let's take a look at the proper ways to train. Training is key to any sport or activity, but long distance running is usually what you use to train for endurance, than it actually being the sport itself. The first important factor to having a good training schedule is coming up with a good running schedule. And the first step to having a good running schedule is having 3 long distance days where you run twice the distance you plan to run in the race you are competing in. Secondly, you want to have 2 interval training days. In these interval training days, you're going to want to do 100-yard dashes, hills, and 1-mile sprints. Lastly, but most importantly, you're going to want to have 2 days off, because this can limit injuries. Elizabeth Quinn states, in Why Athletes Need Rest and Recovery After Exercise, the body repairs and strengthens itself in the time between workouts, and continuous training can actually weaken the strongest athletes. Another factor that goes into having a good training schedule is coming up with a good weightlifting schedule. You're going to want to work this in at the end of the 2 interval training days. During the first half of the workout, you're going to want to actually lift weights, but you're not going to want to lift too much weight because we're looking more for reps to build endurance rather than weight to build strength. While the second half of the workout is going to consist of doing core workouts, since having a good core is vital to being a good long distance runner. Victoria Bach says in How Core Strength Training for Runners Works. Overall core strength training reinforces the way that your pelvis, abs, hips, and lower back work together. So in conclusion, we have looked over the proper ways to diet and the proper ways to train and the importance of each step. Whether it's running from a dog in the neighborhood or running a race in town, following these 2 important steps will lead to success no matter what skill set you may have. In the words of Alabama coach Nick Saban, it's about committing yourself to being the best you can be on that particular day. Improvement is a steady march, and you have to be committed to it.